afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to another real life review. Today we're going to be reviewing what I think is the best Christmas lights I've ever bought. They're actually the Curtime 50-50-60 LED light strips. Let's review them. So let's start the review off by talking about the design. So they're pretty similar to a rope light. However, rope lights are multi-directional. You get 360 degrees of lighting outside of a rope light. These are flat on the top and flat on the bottom. The brass is on the bottom and the LED light is on the top, so it makes them more single directional as opposed to 360 degrees from a conventional rope light. You only get 120 degrees view from the strip. However, it's far more powerful and the performance very easily exceeds that of a rope light. So these are 50-50-60s, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. I just want to talk about how they're built, the construct a little bit. Like I said, it's similar to rope light, but they don't bend and curve as easy as a rope light, and they are only single directional. Let's talk about power consumption. So they're LED 50-50s, and it's one strand of lights on one power supply that's 110-120 volts. So you only need one outlet to power, in this case, 131 feet. Now you can buy these particular LEDs in different lengths, and you can cut them with using scissors. It's indicated on the strip where you can cut them. You can expand them and this and that and so on and so forth, but the energy consumption is ultra low. I did a little bit of math calculation and realized that you could run these or burn them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, 7 days a week, and only cost about $3 to $4. Now these lights do stay up year round, and that's something we're going to talk about as well. So since they stay up year round, it's very important to talk about the exterior rating. Not all Christmas lights or exterior lighting is designed to stay up all year long. It eventually succumbs to the elements. However, these are rated IP67. Now when you see the IP ratings, you wonder, what is that? That just means ingress protection. So IP, which is ingress protection, means it's an electrical rating of saying I'm impervious to such and such. So there's always two digits that follow IP. IP 0 to 6, the first number being, 0 is I cannot take any foreign object whatsoever, and 6 being the highest number, saying, I'm pretty tolerant, I won't take dust and I won't take foreign materials or objects. So in this case, IP6 is our first number. It means it is sealed to the highest strength you can be sealed. The second number after IP6 is 7, and the second digit is always between 0 and 8. 0 means I can take no moisture, no water whatsoever, and the highest being 8 means I can be submerged permanently up to 9 feet or 3 meters. So these are IP67, which means you can basically keep them underwater at a depth of 1 meter or 3 feet at all times. They are sealed extremely tight. They're impervious to dust and foreign debris, and they are very good in wet conditions. So leaving them up all year round is not a problem, and we're going to talk here in a minute about why we're going to do that. So IP67, excellent rating for staying up all year round. So when you buy Christmas lights, you do a lot of figuring. I need this many feet, I need this many extension cords, I need this many outlets, and I am a Christmas light guy. I added 3 additional breakers, 30 amp GFI breakers, to my house in my shop in order just to power this bank of extension cords that I have, because I like running 200 and 300 strands off of 40 extension cords. I'm that guy. But I have found the ultimate in the way of one extension cord. The value is overwhelming, and it paid for itself just in my labor. And it's even on my own property, but I count my labor when I do anything, especially when I'm doing a real life review, and it's real life, so my labor means something. Value, it's definitely there. So what does 50-50-60 mean? 50-50 is a type of LED that just means it's 5 millimeters by 5 millimeters. It's a perfect square. And the 60 after the 50-50 just means there are 60 LEDs within 1 meter or 3 feet. So a way to determine how many lumens that you're actually getting out of these is that you can calculate that most 50/50 LEDs use 24 chips. Each chip produces 15 lumens. 15 times 24 is 360. So a 5mm by 5mm LED, which is very tiny, produces a whopping 360 lumens. Now across 132 feet, that turns out to be an astounding 79,200 lumens. And you can tell from some of this footage that I'm not making that up. It is a heart-pounding effect. And look, this is where we're going to talk about safety a little bit. You've noticed in these videos so far that all of these lights are underneath the soffit. They're actually facing back towards the house. It could inadvertently cause an epileptic seizure, someone staring at the lights that are flashing too quickly. I wouldn't want that to happen to anyone whatsoever. On the other side, it also produces more light by using the house and the cornice as a reflective surface. So in this video here, you can tell exactly what I'm talking about. Underneath the soffit, you have these very vivid, very impressive colors. But over here on this piece of cornice, then it's only producing that strip. You're only seeing the LEDs flash. So if you put them underneath your soffit, there's three things you're doing. Number one, you are protecting it for a longer period of time, even though it's an IP67. And number two, you're protecting the general public from being just, overwhelmed with flashing lights. And number three, you're actually getting more out of it by using the cornice as a reflective surface. So that's why we put it actually facing away. And you want people to enjoy your Christmas lights. You don't want them to, get sick because of them. Now look, I say Christmas lights. We don't have any intentions of taking these lights down. Even though they're RGB, red, green, blue, they do a lot of different things, and that's a segue into what we're going to talk about now is the features on these. We're going to leave these lights up year round because number one, they're hidden from the general public. Only I can see them when I'm power washing the house or something of that nature. But they also, besides having a red, green, and blue feature, they have a 65,000K white feature, which is very unusual in the LED world unless you are buying specifically the white daylight color. These LEDs actually have 65,000 color hue, which, like I said, is unusual unless you're buying that specifically. So on Valentine's Day, you can do a red color. On Halloween, you can do orange and flashing lights. On Memorial Day or Veterans Day, thank you veterans, you can do red, white, and blue. On Christmas, you can do the rapid color change or whatever. You can do it for however you want. If you want just generalized security, you can do a soft white or a warm white, which is about 4,000K. Or if you want to really stand out, you can do the 65,000K at all times and have this ultra bright, cool white daylight LED effect. So keeping them all year round doesn't mean that they're just Christmas lights, but they certainly do an amazing job for Christmas lights. And for those of you who like St. Patrick's Day, there is a green flashing St. Patrick's Day whatever. So here's some of the pros. Okay, you only need one extension cord. One cord or one light strand covers the whole entire house. Use very little energy. You can leave them up all year round. They are super bright. They're protected up to IP67. They have multiple functions. They can flash, strobe, fade in, fade out. You can set them whatever colors you want. You can make them dim or make them bright. It saves money and it saves a bundle of time. So those are the pros. Not to mention they're very economical when you compare them side by side to many LED strands. Now here's some of the cons. There's three cons. Number one, you have to be fairly close to the remote in order for it to sense. It comes with the remote. You need to be really close to the antenna before it will change features. Now that's just a personal preference. I can actually do it from this corner of my house. The antenna's pretty close to where I'm at. I'm not going to deduct in the rating just because I have a personal preference. The second con that I have is that it doesn't come with any adhesive tape. You need to purchase that adhesive tape. It does come with clips that you can nail into the soffit, little white clips. It comes with more than you need and it's sufficient and it's the perfect size for that strand. I just wanted to use the double-sided tape, so it's not really a con, it's more of a pet peeve. and because it is a pet peeve, I'm not going to deduct away from the review for that either. And the last one is also more of a pet peeve, but I understand that it is an IP67, which means it's a pretty solid cord. It doesn't flex like a normal Christmas light. It doesn't flex like a rope light, but then again, it's not a Christmas light, and it's not a rope light. It exceeds a rope light, but the flexing was sometimes difficult to me. But I did take some black wire management cable and cover up where I had some exposed LED, or where I had some exposed strip, and that seemed to fit that perfect. So calling that a con really isn't fair to the product. And just to come right down to it, this is the first product that I've ever had that I didn't have a physical con. They were just like pet peeves. So 5 stars all day long. I say all day long, but I really mean all night long. 5 stars. Amazing product, very happy with it. I'm going to leave the link in the description of this video below, and I'm also going to leave a link to the double-sided tape where I bought it from too. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about this product, go ahead and drop them down in the comments section. I do answer all the comments that I get. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, I certainly appreciate it. If you like things like real-life reviews, cooks and DIYs, things of that nature, go ahead and consider subscribing, and make sure that you click that bell and turn on all notifications for my weekly videos. Until next week, this is the Pond Diver, and Merry Christmas.